Welcome to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show, where you get advice you can trust from the Capital Region's leading experts in real estate and all related fields. From the latest real estate trends to the best mortgage rates, from curb appeal to home warranty, this is the talk show that will help you save and make the most when it comes to buying or selling your most valuable asset. Now, here's your host, broker and founder of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, The Property Shop, John Bevilacqua.
What's going on? Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Johnny G. I missed you, buddy. I missed you last week.
Missed you too. You were enjoying things in Florida.
I guess I should be a lot more tan than I am right now being in Florida. But
I couldn't hear the surf behind you though.
No, there was no surf. Oh. Orlando is landlocked.
Orlando. Okay, all right.
Might
yeah,
as well be in Texas with where we're located.
I forgot where you were.
And I apologize for all the technical difficulties there, John. I put you into an engineering puzzle there last week, but you should have saw us. So our friend Jeremy and Josie that were broker owners down.
Great people.
So the way we had this set up in the hotel room, Jeremy was on the toilet in the bathroom. Okay, and I had Josie locked out on a little patio with the sliding glass door closed. It was like
I saw that post. That was
creative. The post,
very
right?
Good. Very good.
We got Ben Forcucci in the house, Freedom One Funding. Benny and I got a good show for you guys this morning. But yeah, Johnny, it was a good trip. I was telling Ben,
great.
You go to these conferences and you get stuck in a conference room for 8 hours a day, but you learn so much. You come back, you learn about the market.
Yeah, right.
We stepped up our cash offer program. Now we're doing multiple cash offers instantly. We got to wait to unveil this thing. You guys are going to love it. But we'll save that for another show because Ben and I'm going to continue the Mysteries of the Closing Table series. Like with the last show that we did with Kim Salerno from Salerno Law, we did kind of what happens at the closing table from a legal perspective and kind of what is an actual real estate closing, how it all goes down. Mm-hmm. So Ben and I figured, why not talk about the lender aspect of that? Because the lender is such a crucial role for the closing. Obviously, if it's a cash deal, not so much.
Yeah.
But that's only 30% of the time. So 70% of the time, a lender's involved. The closing paperwork can get confusing. Mm-hmm. The numbers can get skewed. And working with Freedom One and Ben, you're not going to have these issues, and we're going to talk about some tips and tricks on what happens at the closing from a lender's perspective, and then we're going to kind of break down how you guys can maybe factor closing costs, right, Ben?
Right.
Yeah. Yep. So Ben's got a special secret formula that you can only get at Kentucky Fried Chicken and Freedom One Funding. But before we get into the secret sauce,
please.
Chick-fil-A, okay. Before we get into the secret sauce, we're going to take a sponsor break quick, and then we're going to get right into it.
To schedule an appointment with John Bevilacqua to help you buy or sell your home, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. John will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show here on Magic 100.5 and AM 590.
It's John Tesh. If you're thinking of selling your home, let me take the stress out of deciding which agent to hire. In the Capital Region, the agent I recommend is John Bevilacqua, founder of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty at The Property Shop. So for 2 decades, John has helped more than 2,500 families buy and sell the place they call home. That's a solid track record, one that's backed up by dozens of 5-star reviews. Hello. In fact, John is so confident in his marketing system to attract the right buyer for your home that he guarantees to sell it at a price and deadline you agreed to, or he's going to buy it himself for cash. And he provides that guarantee in writing. The agent I trust is John Bevilacqua, and he's the agent you should trust too. His name is his promise. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. So write this number down. It's 518-957-SOLD. That's easy. 518-957-7653. Or go to JohnnyHasTheBuyers.com. I love that one. JohnnyHasTheBuyers.com, and you'll get your home sold guaranteed.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful. What's really the best rate? Which term makes sense? Hi, I'm Ben Forcucci at Freedom One Funding in Latham. We work with 10 different lenders who provide 100 different mortgage products. I'll listen to what your needs are, and then I'll do the work to find the right option for your particular situation. We have special expertise in helping first-time home buyers. So eliminate the stress and call me today at 542-LOAN. I'm Ben Forcucci from Freedom One Funding, and I'll do the shopping for you. Call 542-LOAN.
Hi, I'm Matthew Stonecipher, owner of Ace Home Inspections. Whether you're buying or selling a home, let your agent know that you want to work with Ace Home Inspections because you insist on the best home inspection services in the Capital Region. You can also expect a home warranty, pest inspection, and mold assessment included at no additional cost. You deserve better than just a guy in a truck with a notepad. At Ace Home Inspections, we are fully staffed and here for you when you call 518-727-7091 or visit us online at acehomeny.com.
If you're buying or selling your home and would like to schedule an appointment with John, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed Radio Show and your host, John Bevilacqua.
All right, guys. Your Home Sold Radio Real Estate Talk Show. We're sitting here with Benny Forcucci from Freedom One. We got him back again. Good morning, Benny. What's up?
Bright and early.
Bright and early, yeah.
This is the last day, Johnny. You got a nice warm day today.
I know.
And it's all over.
You better cut your lawn. You better do your chores and get that done and over with. It's going to be 40 and raining.
Yeah. Anything you need done outside the house, do it today.
Today's the day.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, listen, guys, call-in show, right? If you guys want to get your real estate questions answered, you got topics you want to talk about, what happens at the closing table, or if you guys got closing table stories or nightmares or fun stories, give us a call. 476-5900, 476-5900. That's the call-in show. Johnny G's working the switchboards on the phone. Give us a call. Tell us about your closing stories. And again, we're here, guys. We want to give our audience the most up-to-date real estate tricks, market conditions, closing table stories, and challenges. And, really it's what I've been doing for 20 years. It's my job is to bring you guys most informative real estate information I can. It's what I've been doing for 20 years. I'm not bragging. I'm just applying for the job of selling your home. So, Benny,
yes,
let's get into it, man. The lender side of the closing table, how do we break down the numbers? Okay, we talked about the formula. How do you want to start this?
Okay, that's the best way to start it is there is no formula.
Okay.
It really is. I have one, and I think it's 90% accurate, but I think I have the conversation 3 times a day for the last 20 years because people here's what I think most of them focus on is how much of a down payment do I need? I need 5%, 10%. Most people, they focus on that number. Like, hey, I'm buying a house for $200,000. I have 20 grand. I am all set.
Right.
Okay. So sometimes we have to lower that down payment number because people don't realize that you got to come up with the closing costs and the escrows for taxes. So here's what I do. Okay. And I tell people that are out there shopping right now the same thing. If you had, because remember, you got 3 different things going on. You got a down payment that you have to put down on your purchase price.
Okay.
Okay. And then you also have closing costs, and then you also have your escrows that have to be built up for, your property taxes, your homeowner's insurance, right? Everything adds up pretty quickly. Okay. So what I use 4% of whatever the purchase price is up to $300,000.
Okay.
Okay. So here's how it works. You have a $200,000 house. You want to put 10% down. So you got $20,000.
Okay.
Okay. Then we got another $8,000 on top of that. If it's $100,000 house or a $200,000 house, just multiply it by 4%. And that's going to be your closing cost. All right, you'll get that number on your closing cost, but then you pretty much double it.
Okay.
You double it for your escrows, for your taxes and insurance. So that's not an easy, simple formula to remember, but if you use 4% of whatever house you're looking at, that's your total closing cost and your escrows for taxes. Okay. So if you get $300,000 or over, the percentage gets lower. It's not worth getting into how much lower because you got a larger purchase price, so the fixed costs are less expensive on those deals.
Break down the escrow, though. Tell us more about the escrow and what goes into that, because I feel like that's just kind of like a catch-all phrase. So,
and it's confusing, too. So escrow is 90% on every mortgage that we do. Okay. So and there's actually more than just 2 things going on. You have 3 things going on. At a closing, if I was buying your house and you just prepaid the property taxes or the school taxes to the end of the year, well, when we come to closing day, first of all, I have to reimburse you for how much taxes you prepaid for the whole year.
Right.
Okay, we have to start there, all right? And then the banks will set up an escrow account. They divide the year out monthly for how much your homeowner's insurance is and your property taxes are. And then they throw a couple months of each into the escrow pot, all right?
Right.
Because as you're paying every month, your part of your disbursement is your taxes for your escrow, your homeowner's insurance for your escrow. So when it comes time to pay the bill, when the bank gets the bill for your taxes or your homeowner's insurance, the money is all ready in the pot, and they mail your check out for you.
And now let's mention that this somewhat confusing scenario with the taxes and the escrow is beneficial, though, because if you were to do this as the homeowner and had to worry about your taxes, had to put this money aside, chances are most people aren't going to do it, right, Ben?
Yeah.
So it's for the protection of the loan, correct?
Yep. It is 100% protection for you and the loan.
Right.
Because it's a fact that people that don't do escrow, they tend to get in trouble.
Yeah.
They get those big tax bills. Let's hold it off for a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially right now. Everybody got, last month, everybody got that big tax bill for school. Mm-hmm. If you're not in escrow, it's, they can be hefty.
Yeah. It definitely takes the worry out of the whole tax situation.
Right.
Benny, so the reason that we can't be 100% accurate on this 4% number, I mean, we're pretty darn close, right?
Yep.
Is it because of each loan type is different, location?
No,
what are the factors?
It's because you have two different costs associated with closing costs. You have your fixed costs in every loan. It's going to be your appraisal, your attorney, certain things. But then the other half of the closing costs in these loans is all based on your loan amount. Mm-hmm. All right. So in New York State, we have New York State mortgage tax. All right. Which is about 1% of your loan amount. Mm-hmm. So that just gets more expensive as your loan gets larger.
Right.
And then you have your title insurance that requires in New York that you have to have title insurance. They have free, you don't have any encumbrances on your property, and your neighbor's shed is not on your property line. So
height
that's
restrictions,
everything.
Building.
Yeah. It's another insurance policy that protects you, but that also gets larger as the loan gets larger.
Gotcha.
So, it's 80% fixed cost, but your two biggest expenses are variable. Your New York State mortgage tax, okay, and your title insurance. So, you really shouldn't even put an offer in until you get a fee worksheet or a good faith estimate from a lender, so you can see your total out of pocket.
Yeah,
okay.
and we break that down. But for the sellers, we'll do a net sheet. For our buyers, we'll have them contact you, make sure they know exactly what they're getting themselves into, because a lot of them come like, we're pre-qualified. Yeah, we got a bank letter. I'm like, okay, Let's talk about that, because a lot of times they're not really pre-qualified, and then we'll send them over to the Ben. And he's like, Johnny, I don't think I can. This one might be a little bit more tricky. So, really, it's complete. It's for everybody's protection. You don't want to get yourself excited to buy a house, and then you come to find out it's like, hey, we really can only buy up to so much, which. At that point, it's like, okay, good. Well, we still can get you something. It might not be in the price point that you want, but we can help you build equity, get you into the first time home. Which I got a question about that for you, Ben, for first time home buyers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, get you into the first home, build equity, and then move up into the next one as you grow and live in life. But talk to me a little bit. Is there special assistance for closing costs for a first time home buyer, or programs out there where?
There's more programs out there now than ever.
Yeah.
But, I don't call them because they're not really first-time homebuyer programs. There's a little bit of incentive going on, but these days you've got 3% down conventional. A couple of years ago it wasn't even available.
I know. It's crazy.
And there's some banks that want 10% down. Okay, it's a lot of money. You have, with certain qualifications, they're rolling out the 1% down conventional loans.
Yeah.
Okay. You also have the loans like we talked about, the VA and the USDA that need no money down. It's just that you have to get pre-qualified. Whether you have a down payment or not, you can get into a house.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So with that being said, this is, everybody's just fearing the interest rates, but honestly, it's never been a better time to get loans.
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, like we've always talked about, marry the house, date the interest rate, because we can always refinance, but buying a house is like planting a tree. If you never plant, it's not going to grow. But at some point, you just got to take the plunge and do it, whether the interest rate is 5%, 2%, or 8%. Yeah.
I think that's happening now.
Yeah.
I think in the last probably 2 to 3 months, it's loosened up where people,
Agreed.
they're not going to all of a sudden, you're going to wake up and they're going back down to 3.5%.
Yeah.
We're not there anymore.
Yeah.
So it's got a lot busier lately. And is the inventory still tough? You got to work for it
still
to find a place.
It's still tight.
You'll find them something.
It'll happen. Yeah, exactly. Hey, so listen, we're getting close to the break here. I know there is a concept of rolling in the closing costs and using what's called a seller's concession. Yep. Now, this is a deadly weapon that most agents aren't privy to. A lot of that they skip this step with their clients, and they end up having them leave some money on it. It's not so much leaving money on the table, but they could have kept money in their pocket to use for post-closing
Right,
expenses.
they empty themselves out with every penny.
Yeah, so after the break, you guys are going to want to stick around. Don't change that dial, as they say on the Batman show back in the day. Ben and I are going to unveil this technique that most buyers don't know about or really understand coming after the break on the Your Home Sold Guaranteed Radio Real Estate News and Talk Show with me, Johnny B. We'll catch you guys after the break.
To schedule an appointment with John Bevilacqua to help you buy or sell your home, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. John will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed Radio Show here on Magic 100.5 and AM 590.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful. What's really the best rate? Which term makes sense? Hi, I'm Ben Forcucci at Freedom One Funding in Latham. We work with 10 different lenders who provide 100 different mortgage products. I'll listen to what your needs are, and then I'll do the work to find the right option for your particular situation. We have special expertise in helping first-time home buyers. So eliminate the stress and call me today at 542-LOAN. I'm Ben Forcucci from Freedom One Funding, and I'll do the shopping for you. Call 542-LOAN.
Buying or selling the place you call home can be stressful. When you have questions, you don't want to wait for answers. Well, for 20 years, Kim Salerno and her team at Salerno Law have built a solid reputation with buyers, sellers, and real estate agents as fast, respectful communicators. They know Salerno Law will protect their rights and respond quickly when a question arises. Trust Salerno Law. Call 518-309-3404 and check out their 5-star reviews at SalernoLawNY.com.
If you're buying or selling your home and would like to schedule an appointment with John, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed Radio Show and your host, John Bevilacqua.
All right, that was a quicker break than I thought it was going to be. We're back, guys. Hey, listen, call-in show. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Radio Real Estate Talk Show. Guys, this is Colin. We're talking about Mysteries of the Closing Table, Part 2, working with a lender and the closing costs that go into the actual closing itself. That was a mouthful of closing. So listen, give us a call, 476-5900. We would love to hear from you guys. Questions, comments, closing stories. Give us a ring over here in the studio. And hey, listen, Ben hit it on the nose. You know, inventory's still a little thin, but guess what? There are some awesome deals that are still out there. So from now until December, I mean, even past December, I'm just saying, if you're looking in the fall season, you guys got to reach out to us. I mean, there's deals out there you're not going to find on Zillow, you're not going to find online. Okay, you're not going to work with a real estate website. You want to work with an agent that's going to help you guys find these off-market deals, unlisted properties, bank foreclosure, REO properties. Pretty much anything that constitutes a good deal usually doesn't sell on the open market. It hits an agent's desk or a broker's desk, and it's one of those deals like, hey, I got something for you, you know, and it's sold before print, as we say. So if you're tired of looking at the leftover inventory online, overpriced listings, the stuff that doesn't sell, give us a call. It's our VIP home hunter service. It works like a charm, and we want to help you guys find that perfect home. So you can call us in the office, 957-SOLD, 957-7653. The lovely Brittany Ferris is on standby, so if anyone wants to give a call this morning, we are in the office ready to take your call. In the meantime, we're breaking down these closing costs, and Benny, we're talking about closing the gap on what's called a seller's concession to help people get some money and keep money in their pocket. Not get, but keep the money in their pocket before they close on a home. So I remember many, many moons ago when I got into real estate, my first deal had a seller concession.
Oh my gosh.
And it's a little tough to understand.
It turns into a confusing deal at that point.
It gets really a little confusing. Yep. Well, you know, once you figure it out, you're like, oh my God, it's like bringing a gun to a knife fight at the end of the day. So let's break it down a little bit. Let's talk about the seller concession, how that works.
Okay. Here's how I do. With every customer that I pre-qualify, I do the same thing. How much do you have total that you want to put into the transaction? And they'll tell me, Ben, I have $25,000. Okay. All right. Perfect. Is that what you have total? He's like, no, I've got more than that, but I'm like, okay, then let's continue the conversation differently. But when you tell me that you have $25,000 in the bank and you want to put that whole thing down, what I'll do is I'll explain about seller concessions a little bit, or maybe a lower down payment. Okay. Because you don't want to go into the house with less than $5,000 in your check account unless you're a first-time home buyer. with no protection for the future. What could happen? Okay, so if I get a $200,000 house and they want to put 10% down, they got $20,000, and then we kick in the 4%, for another $8,000 for escrows and closing costs. So now they're going to be up to $30,000 at the end of the day, minimum. Okay, and that's what they have in their account. They're still getting another paycheck to throw in their account to come up with enough. I'm like, let's backtrack a little bit, because what we can do with seller concessions, and really all it is financing some closing costs into the loan itself.
Hey, we got a friend on the phone. It's Joe Malone.
Oh,
hey, Joe.
Hey, Ben. Hey, John. How you doing this morning?
What's up, Joey?
I got a quick question for Ben.
Absolutely. I'm
Do
here.
it.
Okay, Ben. I've got a client that's spending around $300,000 on this on a home. They want to spend about $300,000 on a home. What percentage can they put into a seller's concession to get to have at the closing table? Is there a percentage that we could follow?
Yep, there's different percentages. So is are we looking at a conventional buyer or an FHA?
Yeah.
Yep. You got 3% to work with. So
3%.
if they got let's say they find a $300,000 house, you got $9,000 to play with to finance the closing costs into the loan, and that's pretty much what their closing costs will be on a $300,000.
That's a good chunk of change, right?
That's
there.
a lot of
Now,
money.
and that's for what? Is that the down payment?
No, that's not. That has nothing to do with the down payment. That's what people think. You can you can just go lower in down payment too, but that literally goes towards closing cost. All right. So if your closing cost and your escrows come to, $15,000 on that particular deal for $300,000, all right, you're going to take $9,000 off the top. They're only going to come to closing with $6,000 out of their pocket for closing costs and escrows for taxes.
Let me ask you a question, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Is there limit? I mean, I guess the definition of closing costs in that case, is there limitations to what the concession can offer in terms of air quotes, quote unquote, a closing cost?
No, as long as the total closing cost, including your escrows, because they'll include those in there, are less than what your concessions are. That's all you have to worry about.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's good. That's good.
What about when a person says, is it a good idea to finance my closing costs, into the mortgage? Is considering it's another, let's say, $9,000. Do I want to finance another $9,000? Does that make sense? Yeah,
if you don't have the cushion like we were talking about, if you're emptying that checking account out, because you have to on some situations to cover everything, 100%. Because remember, if it might be $5,000, it might be the $9,000 we're talking about, but you're stretching that $9,000 over 30 years. You might be bumping your payment up $35 a month. Keep the money in your account. Yeah, it brings your payment up, of course, but this is a marathon at home ownership. It's not a sprint. You got to make sure you're covered. The furnace goes. You got $8,000 going out the door.
And like we just talked about, you're probably not going to be married to that loan forever. I mean, chances are there's going to be a refinance in your future. You're going to want to tap that equity. So I mean, that money is really not that relevant 10 years down.
I know I can count on you, Ben. Thanks for your help.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thanks for the call, Joey.
Good talking to you.
So listen, a little caveat to the seller concession though. Like you gotta have somebody on your side that knows what the heck they're doing, because like these are not easy to negotiate, especially in a tight market right now. Am I correct, Ben?
100%.
Yeah, right.
So it's the second part of the conversation. I'm giving you two options. You don't have to do the seller concessions. People these days know what they want. They'll come right back to me and say, Ben, I want this house. I'm like, well, then let's not talk about seller concessions. All right. So I'm like, you know exactly what you're into, what you're up for. You put all your money towards closing costs, no seller concessions, conventional loan, 10, 20% down. That's a great offer.
Yeah.
So I get it. It's not a perfect market where you can use it whenever you feel like it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that really comes down to, because I mean, if you want to get a seller's attention to get this concession, like you better give them a pretty darn good price, right? You can't go in and say, "Hey, I want 3%."
Yeah, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
And
if you're looking for a break on, how much you got to bring to closing, they have to allow you to do the seller concession. So you're getting a concession. That's what it's for. You're getting a little help here to get closing done without so much money out of your pocket.
And this all has to be in writing, right?
Up front, when you get pre-approved, whether it's me or someone else, another lender, you need to have that conversation up front before a letter even goes out. Because if you get an offer accepted and you don't have seller concessions included, good luck getting it done after the fact.
It's not happening.
It's not happening.
No. Again, that's why it comes down to the agent that has the negotiating skills, that knows how to maneuver this thing to make sure that this thing gets put in place and is executed at the closing too, because it's sometimes that can get screwed up.
Yep.
But it's interesting too, because the seller concession concept actually works good for home sellers too, because a lot of times we'll disclose to the open market, to the public, and say, hey, listen, the seller's open to concessions, which opens up the buyer pool, because now the buyers know. And we got to go on a break. But now the buyers know, like, okay, this guy will give us some bonus money.
A little bit of help.
It helps. It shortens up the closing time frame, gives the seller a better price and better options. So listen, we got to take another quick break, sponsor break, and then we're going to wrap it up on the Your Home Sold Guaranteed Radio Real Estate Talk Show after the break.
To schedule an appointment with John Bevilacqua to help you buy or sell your home, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. John will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed Radio Show here on Magic 100.5 and AM 590.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful. What's really the best rate? Which term makes sense? Hi, I'm Ben Forcucci at Freedom One Funding in Latham. We work with 10 different lenders who provide 100 different mortgage products. I'll listen to what your needs are, and then I'll do the work to find the right option for your particular situation. We have special expertise in helping first-time home buyers. So eliminate the stress and call me today at 542-LOAN. I'm Ben Forcucci from Freedom One Funding, and I'll do the shopping for you. Call 542-LOAN.
Buying or selling the place you call home can be stressful. When you have questions, you don't want to wait for answers. Well, for 20 years, Kim Salerno and her team at Salerno Law have built a solid reputation with buyers, sellers, and real estate agents as fast, respectful communicators. They know Salerno Law will protect their rights and respond quickly when a question arises. Trust Salerno Law. Call 518-309-3404 and check out their 5-star reviews at SalernoLawNY.com.
Hi, I'm Matthew Stonecipher, owner of Ace Home Inspections. Whether you're buying or selling a home, let your agent know that you want to work with Ace Home Inspections because you insist on the best home inspection services in the capital region. You can also expect a home warranty, pest inspection, and mold assessment included at no additional cost. You deserve better than just a guy in a truck with a notepad. At Ace Home Inspections, we are fully staffed and here for you when you call 518-727-7091 or visit us online at acehomeny.com.
If you're buying or selling your home and would like to schedule an appointment with John, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed Radio Show and your host, John Bevilacqua.
Okay, guys, we only got a couple minutes left. Unfortunately, this one went by
Say it's
quick.
not so.
Say it's not so. We got Benny, the home mortgage shopper. This guy does the shopping for you. I love it. That's his slogan. So in other words, Ben from Freedom One actually has multiple. Wow, we got 1 minute. I didn't even say anything. Like I ate up a minute. Just anyway. So Ben and I covered closing costs. We covered the seller concession. It was a good show. We wrapped up the mysteries of the closing table. So just want to let you guys know. Your real estate referrals help the community, and we're on a mission to raise $50,000 for Make-A-Wish, Capital Region's Veteran Legacy Project, Animal Protective Foundation. So anytime you refer a client over to us, we will take a portion of our commission and donate it to the community. It's
pretty
what we do.
Nice.
It's pretty nice. We do it on every one of our transactions. Awesome. And if you guys are looking for an investment, looking to trade up or trade down a house, give us a call, 957-SOLD. That's 957-7653. Ask about our VIP Home Hunter service and our investor newsletter called In-House. Benny, anything you want to wrap up with before? How can people get a hold of you?
542-5626. 542-LOAN. It's 7 days a week. It's never off, Johnny.
It's never off. It's on his license plate. It really is. Literally on his license plate. So the guy, he can't run from the telephone. So
I'll be there.
He'll be there. Again, we want to thank Benny from Freedom One in Latham. Shows in Latham for coming on today, dropping knowledge on beating today's rates. If you want to contact Benny, just gave you his number. You guys are not going to want to miss next week's show right on the Your Home Sold Guaranteed Radio Real Estate Talk Show, where we talk everything real estate every week right here on Magic 100.5 with me, Johnny B. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll talk to you next week.
The Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show is presented by Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, the property shop. Join broker and founder John Bevilacqua every Saturday morning at 8:30 to hear about the latest real estate trends here in the capital region, where to find the best mortgage rates, home insurance, home warranties, and more. To speak to John about buying or selling your home, call now to schedule an appointment. 518-957-SOLD. That's 518-957-7653. Or go to JohnnyHasTheBuyers.com. That's JohnnyHasTheBuyers.com.